All right, seem to be live. Hi, New Creation. Welcome to another reading, a Good Friday reading, Good Friday in real time. Thanks to Jason for taking the early shift. It's now 11 a.m. We are in mine and Tracy's shared office here, and you can see her computer behind me. Um, we are we're going to be looking at Matthew 27. So this is where Jesus gets mocked and derided. He's already been on the cross for 2 hours at this point, 11 a.m. And he has been mocked throughout the whole process. Um, remember the crown, remember the robe, remember the reeds. They would hit him and say, "Who hit you? Can you prophesy?" So he's been mocked. But here, in this period of time leading up to 11 a.m., it's constant derision. I want to read now from Matthew 27, verses 36 through 43. Then they sat down and kept watch over him there, and over his head they put the charge against him, which read, "This is Jesus, the King of the Jews." Then two robbers were crucified with him, one on the right and one on the left. And those who passed by derided him, wagging their heads and saying, "You who would destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross." So also the chief priests with the scribes and the elders mocked him, saying, "He saved others. He cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel. Let him come down from the cross, and then we'll believe in him. He trusts God. Let God deliver him now, if he desires him. For he said, 'I am the Son of God.'" And the robbers who were crucified with him also reviled him in the same way. So he's mocked. The sign over his head, although a true statement, and we would regard a statement of worship, was actually mocking the King of the Jews. And so as passersby would see that, they would wag their heads and they would say, "Save yourself, King of the Jews. If you can destroy and rebuild the temple in 3 days, why can't you take yourself off a cross?" These are regular people, passersby. But then you've got the elites, chief priests, the scribes, and the elders saying, "This guy saved others. He can't save himself." And what they're trying to do by that is basically to say his entire ministry is called into question. The fact that he's on that cross right now should tell you you can't trust anything he did or said. He supposedly saved others. Probably were just tricks. That wasn't real. Can't even save himself. So they said, "Come down and we'll believe in you." Just mocking him. "We'll know you're real if you just come down off that cross." So the elites mocked him. But then maybe worse for some, maybe the worst of all, is that other people being crucified mocked him. The lowliest at their lowest, somehow while being tortured themselves, lifted their heads enough to say, who are you? You're supposedly the Son of God. Well, come on, save us." And from the unbelieving thief, this was not a real cry for salvation. From that unbelieving robber, it was mockery. He took a moment from his own torturous pain and death to lift his head and mock Jesus. Maybe it made him feel better. It doesn't make sense to me. The eternal God, the Son of God, the maker and owner of the entire world, was utterly humiliated. This was a new low. I'm going to pull up Philippians 2, and read a brief passage here. And being found in human form, he humbled himself by becoming obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross. So you see, the Apostle Paul in the Philippians, he was saying, not only did the God of the universe humble himself and become human, that was humiliating enough. That was condescension enough. But he even went further. He died. And not just any death, the most humiliating form of death, the most excruciating. We'll be back at noon. Conversation between Jesus and the two robbers, the two thieves on the cross. We'll be looking at the Gospel of Luke, chapter 23. When we come back in a little less than an hour. At that point, we'll be back live right here, same place. Thanks all.